It is the Riot Podcast on RadioU, the Worst of the Riot Podcast here. And it is Monday, February 20th?
You did it.
No Hudson.
We don't need him. We can do the podcast ourselves.
Yes, no Hudson this morning. He is sick, and I was thinking about it. So we were talking about when he's going to come back, right?
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. There's no real time set because he's like a stomach bug. Do you think when he comes back, how sick do you think he's going to be when he comes back?
Well, a stomach bug is hard because you sound usually fine. It's just you sound fine in between throwing up.
Yeah.
Or worse. So it just depends. Like, I'm sure he'll be okay. It's just, does his stomach feel okay?
I think he's going to be looking rough.
Oh,
I think he's going to come back because he's like always so eager to come back from being sick.
Sure.
He's going to come back a day too early. So that's why previously I thought he was going to come back on Wednesday. I think he comes back tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Because
push it.
He's already been sick this year, hasn't he?
Yeah. No, okay. Hudson, I know you sometimes will hear the podcast when you're not in. I think this show has broken you because you never used to be sick.
Oh, I know.
And you were always so proud of that, and you're always sick.
That's what I was saying. It feels like, because he would talk about it last year, he was like, I'm never sick.
Nope.
I haven't missed. He talked about how he never took a sick day for like however many years working at Radio U. And then this year, I'm like, does he have any sick days left?
Because even he would still come in sometimes sicker, like he lost his voice too and stuff. But this show will, or any job where you have to get up as early as we do.
Yeah.
Or since we talk into microphones, we tend to pass whatever anybody's sickness is to each other.
I'm talking
quickly.
into Hudson's right now.
Oh,
dangerous games.
You should be worried about that.
Dangerous games.
But we'll see. I just wonder, like, will he be dehydrated yet? Or
yes. I can just imagine when he comes in, he's going to be like pale. He's going to be flushed in the face. He's not going to be feeling well. He's going to power through. I remember maybe like a year and a half ago when I first had started doing the show, I went through like a 5-month period where I just was constantly a little bit sick.
That was your body getting used to it, I think.
It was just like a little bit sick of just like not getting much sleep and waking up early, and it just takes it out of you in that way. And right now, Hudson's body is just rejecting. We may be staying up too late. Who knows?
His is giving up. Yours has hit its stride.
I know. I'm doing good. I haven't been sick in a while, so knock on wood.
You're doing great.
That I can just keep that up. But today, during the podcast, some of the things we talked about how Meta, Facebook and Instagram, are adding what would be a new verified check.
So they're willing to sell the blue check like Twitter's been trying to do. So listen to the details and tell us if you think you'd be willing to pay.
Anybody's willing to make money. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. He's like, well, I mean, if Twitter's doing it, $15 a month for my users sounds pretty nice.
All of our social media will just become a subscription-based thing. And
exactly.
I'm sure that is how it is one day.
We also talked about Nikki's big mistake over the weekend. She bought an extremely expensive birthday cake.
I did.
And was it good?
Yeah, you'll find out, guys.
You'll find out.
And if you would like to have a piece of it, I was going to bring some in. No, you'd have to pay me.
See, that's what I was wondering when you talked about it.
I have to recoup the money.
You're like, I need to eat every slice of this. I can't be sharing it.
I brought in a cake for Valentine's Day last week. I'm not bringing in my extra birthday cake because if I did, you'd have to pay me like $5 or $10 a slice.
A slice. When we had the Valentine's Day cake last week, just made my entire week. I was so happy. Every day for lunch, I had a piece of cake, and it made my entire week.
Well,
it was so
guess
great.
what? The cake train's over.
Yeah, I know. She's like, it's over, okay? It was a one-time thing. It's not happening again.
I'm not bringing them in. No more.
We also talked about your morning routine, how you can feel a little bit younger, how you can start your day on a little bit of a better note.
It's a longevity expert. He's like a doctor, and so he's got some tips on what we should be doing in the morning to be older, I guess, but like live younger. I don't know how he puts it.
A bunch of things that you're not going to want to do that are like stressful, but like they could help you if you want to do them.
Well, let's go journal, okay?
Yeah, let's go draw.
Right. Let's go
have
some breakfast.
Meditate.
And go have that. But enjoy the podcast. Hudson, we hope you're back tomorrow. Only time will tell. But definitely text and say hi at 877-2-RADIO-U, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you guys.
Bye.
While Isaiah is wishing for a girlfriend, Nikki and Hudson are just wishing for any friend at all. The Riot. Radio U.
No Hudson this morning.
Oh, we didn't want him anyways.
You know what? If you're going to come in here being all sick, we don't want you to show up. We don't want you to show up.
I think he has like the stomach bug that everybody's been getting. We don't want him to show up.
No.
And even if it's tomorrow or like Wednesday as well, like he doesn't need to come in until he's way past that.
That's what I was thinking when he said that, like, he had gotten a stomach bug. He was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to come in tomorrow. And I was like, realistically, like, when are you going to be able to come back in?
Well, I would assume it'd be a few days because he said everybody else has it. And so, like, he was one of the last ones, and that was yesterday. So we might need to do a quick Google search because I assume it's a couple of days.
You would think it wouldn't be, like, a 24-hour thing. Like, I assume he's going to lay around today. Yeah, it could be. And he'd come back in tomorrow morning and just, like, faintly get us, like, a little bit sick and then move along, and then we all just get it here, so...
We're excited if that's the trajectory.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If he's going to get some days off for being sick, no, that's like the one thing, like being sick is like the worst thing ever. So I'm sure, especially with a stomach bug too. I haven't had a stomach bug in like, I feel like it's been like years since I've had something like that. And it's just never fun. Like I'm sure he's having less fun right now than we are.
Well, we don't want a Hudson, so you come back whenever you feel 100% back. And until then, just stay away.
Yeah, if I had to guess, there's no way he's going to come in tomorrow. I can't.
Oh, you don't think so?
I don't think so. Maybe he will and he'll like push through. But I feel like if you have a stomach bug, that's just no fun at all. Like when he texted too, it just seemed like there was just like sadness in that text.
And there was no like follow up because, you know, both you and I were like, oh no, you know, that sort of stuff. And then I was expecting like him to text back closure. But there wasn't. So I assumed like he's just throwing up.
Yeah, he's just throwing up. He's just laying on the couch, not moving. And hopefully by today, maybe by the end of the day, he'll be feeling a little bit better. But I can't imagine him feeling a lot better.
We'll have to keep you guys updated each day. But hopefully, Hudson, you feel better.
Find more Riot content online. riot.radiou.com.
So, am I right in saying there was the dunk contest, but then there's also like the All-Star game?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like a whole weekend thing?
It's a whole, there's also like a 3-point contest. There's like a Rising Stars challenge where like the young guys in the league that are kind of like up and coming do some stuff too. But the main thing of the weekend, like we had the All-Star game yesterday, which is usually the majority of the storylines.
Oh, sure.
Unfortunately, this year the All-Star game was just like...
They said it was boring.
It was all right. Like they just like don't play any defense, and so... It's just like everybody shooting a bunch of threes. I don't know. It wasn't like the best one that we've had in a while.
So it was Team Giannis. Is that his name?
Giannis.
That topped Team LeBron. Who's that?
Yes.
184 to 175. But yeah, they said it was just kind of
It was just
boring.
meh. Yeah, it was on last night. I watched some of the All-Star game. I thought it was just okay. There's been like years recently where it's been pretty good. This year, not as much. But the story of the weekend was the dunk contest for sure.
Now that I know of.
Yeah, I watched that on Saturday night, and the thing that recently for that too is the dunk contest as of late has been like no one has liked it at all. Like it's been really bad the past couple of years.
Is that because no one wants to hurt themselves or like just no one cares to dunk anymore?
Yeah, it's just like the dunks just haven't been as creative, I guess. Like the people in the contest, just like they don't have a lot of like big stars that are in it, and the people that end up getting into it just don't put on a great performance. But this year, there was a great performance, and that was Mac McClung, who's the first person to ever be in the dunk contest that's not actually, like, in the NBA.
But he is. He just doesn't play?
Yeah, he's, like, not in the NBA. He's in, like, the G League.
Yeah.
So it's, like, the step below. And so he's on the Philadelphia 76ers G League team, which is kind of like a minor league team.
But they bring him out for this.
But they bring him out for this. He's like a trick pony. They're like, come on out. We need you to dunk and, like, make this exciting. And he did from the minute I watched the whole thing. And it was another one of those years when the people that were in the dunk contest, there wasn't a lot of big names. But he was kind of like the most like well-known name as a dunker, even though a lot of the people that just watch the NBA probably don't even know who he is because he doesn't play. But if you like are on YouTube or Instagram, he's kind of like made a name for himself, like dunking on there. He went viral.
He has a YouTube channel. They said most of his notoriety is from his YouTube channel. He was a 3-star prospect coming out of high school, spent 2 years at Georgetown, and then he entered in 2021 the NBA draft, but did not get selected.
Yeah, ended up on a G League team. Hasn't really played in the NBA, but he can dunk. For sure. And it was great.
So this is all he does. Like, he's actually a professional dunker. His stuff looks amazing. He's really funny.
It was wild, like, watching him because, like, the other thing that's crazy, too, is he's, like, so much smaller than everybody else. He's only, like, 6'2". yet again, that's still tall. But
Yeah.
like for the NBA, he's so much shorter. Everyone else that was in the dunk contest was like 6'6" or 6'7", and so he was just like standing next to them. He looks like a little kid, like even just his face. He looks like super young, and so for him to be out there just like doing all these crazy dunks, like jumping over people, and it was just an incredible performance. Really exciting stuff. For
Well, the only thing
dunk
I didn't see is like, does he get a bonus? Do you win money?
I don't think so.
Do you get a vacation? Like, what do you win for winning the dunk
I
contest?
think you just get like the trophy.
Well, it's
And
an
that's, like,
honor
it.
for him. He is a professional dunker. 3 of his 4 dunks at the NBA dunk weekend.
Yeah, dunk contest.
Dunk contest. He got 3 of his 4 got perfect scores, and they just said like he was amazing, so he won.
Yeah, if you guys didn't see any of the videos of him, you should look him up because the dunks that he did, they were pretty spectacular. They were pretty awesome.
Makes me want to see his YouTube channel too.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Some huge news for Facebook and Instagram. They're also giving you the opportunity to buy a blue check mark.
Do you want this? Is the question.
Yeah, and for me, like right off the rip, it's like $12 a month subscription fee. And unlike Twitter, you actually have to like provide like a government ID saying that like it's actually you. But Mark Zuckerberg announced that Meta is launching Meta Verified for Instagram and Facebook. So if you'd like to get a blue check mark next to your Instagram or Facebook, you now can.
So this will be, well, they're testing it first. So if you're in New Zealand and Australia, later this year, you'll be able to get the opportunity to purchase your check mark first, and then other countries will follow. So like, it's not going to be here in the United States anytime soon.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Because I
And-
think the blue check mark's going crazy like this. Like you just cannot tell who is actually important and who's not.
Well, this one's different. So, like on Twitter, you could pay. I don't know if they're still offering it, but like anybody could get a check mark and you'd pay a monthly fee. That was kind of all that it was. This will be for Instagram and Facebook, and everybody's saying it's $12 a month. Unless you use iOS, then it's $15 a month.
Oh, that's kind of pricey.
So it's a little bit more expensive. You'll become a verified user. You'll get a blue badge. This one's actually possibly what would make it be a little bit more important is you'll get impersonation protection. So a lot of like, there's been a bunch of radio networks, not ours, thank goodness, but they've had their Facebook pages gone for months and months and months. And so an impersonator will take over all their stuff. And if you're just a fan and you don't realize, but you're like, why are they posting all this weird stuff? You know, like that doesn't seem like them. It's because it's not them.
It's somebody else who stole their profile.
It's someone else. And so with those companies, the biggest takeout of all this is they can't just go to Facebook and be like, hey, can we have our page back? They can't verify themselves to actual Facebook. So Facebook is saying, well, if you pay, you'll get direct access to customer support and you'll have more protection against accounts claiming to be you or if you get your accounts taken.
See, it makes sense for like a business or something like that hasn't been verified yet for them to have like the extra protection. But like for the everyday user.
For the check mark only? Or?
Yeah, they're just looking for that blue check mark next to their name.
So it's not, which I would do for Instagram.
Yes, of course.
I would be more tempted for Instagram out of all of them, but Twitter never tempted us.
No.
Facebook, don't care, but Instagram, maybe.
Yeah, that's like the most enticing one for me as well. Like if I was going to be verified on one social media, I would want it to be Instagram. But at the same time,
not for that price.
Not for that price. I'm not paying that a month. And like, are the people who are already verified gonna have like a different check mark? Are we gonna know?
That's they won't cover because again they're testing it. They have to test it on a smaller scale. Like New Zealand's smaller and Australia's smaller. So those are the two.
If they do anything, hopefully, like if I just could ask one thing, Mark.
Yeah.
Just make it
Mr.
so,
Zuckerberg.
Mr. Zuckerberg, please, could you make it so the people that were already verified, or they're like they aren't paying a monthly fee? Can you give them a different check mark, like a gold one or something? That way I can know, yet again,
if they're
like a celebrity or not. Like I need to know that.
I gotcha.
I need to know these things. When I'm looking at their page, I need to know, if it's a real check mark or just like a fake one.
Well, what color do you want then?
I'm fine with the people who buy it to be like blue. I think that if you actually have earned one, then it should be like gold.
See, if you already had one though, you should stay blue, and then new people who are paying
Or like red or something.
should almost have a new color scheme instead.
Like they don't get the nice like blue color. They get like white or
Yeah,
something.
because there's too many blues already.
Yeah,
It'd be hard to
exactly.
change that. So if you would be interested for $12 if you're using the web service or $15 a month for iOS, that's going to be Meta verified.
The words too expensive aren't in Nikki's vocabulary. This is The Riot. Radio U.
Hudson this morning, which is a darn shame considering yesterday was Nikki's birthday.
He's missing it. He didn't have to do anything.
He's not even here. For what a wonderful day it is. So how was your birthday?
It was
Nikki?
good. It was really good. And I have the results on what birthday cake I went with.
Yes.
So I went with it was a keto from a keto bakery. And so it's sugar-free. I got a 9-inch Buckeye cake.
Ooh, that
So,
sounds good.
Chocolate and peanut butter. And then, each section of the cake had a little Buckeye
Oh, yeah.
around it. So, it was a premium cake.
Was it good?
It was good. It was just a lot of chocolate peanut butter.
Like real rich?
And I was a little disappointed because I didn't know how much it was going to cost. And I think that soured the cake a tiny bit.
You're like, was it worth it?
Have you
Was
ever
this
bought
worth-
a cake before?
I've never really bought. I bought like a pie, but I never bought a cake.
How much do you think a 9-inch cake would you put that at? And
don't
you guys
know.
can text in too.
It's got to be like in my
At
mind.
8772 radio. You're either going to go way too big or
It's got to be like $30.
$30 for a 9-inch cake.
That's my guess. Maybe like 20. It's somewhere between $25 and $30 for a
Okay.
9-inch cake. If I'm assuming if I'm taking into account, because I know it's a more expensive cake because it's keto.
Yeah.
You have like little dietary stuff going on there. Sugar
All the
free.
stuff isn't like basic baking stuff. It's all like a unique, different version
Yeah.
of instead of sugar, you get this.
That's why I'm thinking it's like $25, $30, which to me that's like wildly expensive. for a
$25 or
cake.
$30.
I'm thinking that's what it was.
All right. It wasn't.
Was it more?
Stacy texted in and said $75 to $100.
Just $100?
Do you think that's closer
for
to
a
what
cake?
I paid?
Is that like a normal price? Like how much is an average cake?
It depends. Like you can get a Costco sheet cake.
Yeah.
And those are larger.
They're huge.
I think that would be probably around $30 or something.
Okay, I'm with it. Okay, not terrible.
So again, this is from a bakery, which can cost more. So
Little
Eric
extra.
ordered the cake for me. I never saw the price on the website. There is no price on the website. And
Of course there's not.
Mine was sugar free. So it's like you tack on all these extras and it had all this stuff. This is not including tax and stuff. It was $85.
Holy moly,
When I-
$85. That's insane.
When I paid and she told me because it was like 90 with tax, I was like, what? What?
90 what?
And there's nothing I can do about it.
At that point, she's already made it.
I know.
You're not going to be like, actually send it back.
I can't
Please
say
send
no.
it back.
And then Eric said that they were so busy when he was taking the order that they didn't say the price. He didn't prepay, which I was
Oh,
surprised
no.
at because I would have ran, man. I didn't
Yeah,
wanna pay that.
$85.
So I don't know. Stacy, you were close. But yeah, it was $85 without tax. And then I think it crossed over the 90 with everything.
So was it a big cake? I don't know how big 9 inches is.
So it's 9 inches, but it was also, I think this is because it's a low carb cake. It was also pretty, it's not fluffy. It's not like tall.
Got it. So it's pretty like flat.
I'm freezing that thing, man.
Was it good? Like, it was like,
It was good, but it was just so much money to be like the best cake ever.
you still have some?
I do. And
Okay.
I'm going to cut every piece up and I'm going to scrape every inch of it off.
Yes.
And I'm going to individually freeze each piece.
Each
so
piece.
I can have it throughout the
Forever.
year. Forever.
Yes. So you cut it in like little mini pieces and you have like a bunch of little snacks
That's all I can do.
over the course of time. Well, at
That-
least it was a good birthday.
That actually might end up being my birthday cake still next year.
Next year. Like, well, since it was so much money, I'm going to have to
have
save
to.
this for next year. I'm going to have one piece left
I have to reuse it.
that I'm going to have to use for next year.
Yep,
We're
so
going to have
I've-
Nikki's birthday party, and she's going to bring in frozen cake from last year.
I've learned my lesson. You should always find out how much something is, and it's never if it's too good to be true.
Yeah, every time.
Hudson and Isaiah seem like they know a lot about sports, yet somehow it's Nikki that always gets it right. The Riot, Radio U.
And Nikki, let's take a look at the box office recap from over the weekend. obviously the headliner here, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, comes in, as we talked about a little bit on Friday. Some people were used to be excited about it. Then reviews came in, and people said maybe the movie isn't as good as we had originally thought it was going to be.
I think that's putting it nicely.
Yeah, but it still ended up doing $225 million this past weekend.
Now, that was worldwide.
Worldwide.
So I feel like if you actually hear its domestic numbers, it's lower than what we thought.
It is. What is that, 104?
104 domestic for the 3-day. Now, technically, this is where movie stuff gets really confusing. Technically, this is like a 4-day holiday weekend because of President's Day.
So we got today, too.
So they're technically saying its domestic start is around 118 million, which they give it as the third best President's Day opening weekend ever. But a lot of help came from the international box office for its 225 million total.
So it says it gets an extra day today. Is that what we're
It
giving
does,
it? We're
yes.
giving an extra day to get to 118 mil. That's fair enough. Yeah, 104, obviously way below what we thought it was going to be by like, I think the lowest someone said was like 120.
Yeah, I know. I think that was Hudson.
And so, I mean, obviously it wasn't. I'm just surprised that it barely outdid the previous Ant-Mans, which is, I just think that's wild because the other ones I thought were good movies, but yet again, they were not hyped up at all. I thought this was way more hyped up.
This one domestically did like 5% better than the last one and a lot better than the first one. But it wasn't anything that they thought, like it didn't take away the whole weekend.
And had I not been so busy this weekend,
You would have gone?
I would have contributed for the movie, but
Well,
at
it's
the same
missing
time, clearly is missing out. I did see some like reviews of it, like on TikTok and stuff, and everything is pretty much saying it's not as good as you think it's going to be.
Yeah, but it's been a while. Like, they consider this to be the first big movie opening of this year. Mm-hmm. So, like, it has something. But
yeah.
So, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, 104 million domestically. Avatar, 6.1 million. I'll come back to Avatar in a moment. Magic Mike's Last Dance, 5.4. Puss in Boots, 5.3. Knock at the Cabin, 3.9. So, okay, you ready for Avatar talk?
I'm ready for Avatar talk.
So, here again is the
Give
difference
it to me.
between, like, international and, you know, like not international numbers. So Avatar: The Way of Water has now passed Titanic to become the third highest grossing movie ever worldwide.
Must be a good movie. If you ask me.
I don't know.
Avatar yet again doing numbers.
So that's Avatar: The Way of Water. It is coming out of its 10th weekend, and again, third biggest overseas release ever, behind Avatar, the first one, and Avengers Endgame. Now, if you're an Avatar fan, you're like, that's great. It must be the best movie ever behind those two. Domestically, though, it's in 9th place. So, like, it has not done as well.
How is that even possible?
It hasn't done well here.
Got it.
It's international numbers.
So everywhere else, it's like popping off overseas, but not so much in America.
They said, I actually thought that was interesting. They said Avatar 2 would never be able to beat its original numbers domestically until it's re-released back into theaters. So they guarantee that Avatar 2 will be, even though it's already still in theaters.
Yeah.
It'll have to, if you give it some time, it'll have to come back into theaters because they want to finally meet some of the domestic goals with it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that I didn't see a way where it could possibly surpass the first one just because it was so huge. But at the same time, third all-time domestic or overseas. Internationally, pretty incredible.
So did anybody see Ant-Man and the Wasp?
If you did, text in, but don't spoil it. But text in and tell us if you think it was bad, because everybody, for some reason, thinks it's bad.
You can spoil it, and I'll just tell Isaiah if he can look at the text message or not. I don't mind if it's
Nikki
spoiled.
doesn't mind the spoilers.
I don't care.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
Nikki, football season has come to a close.
All done.
But that does not mean that there
Not
isn't some...
XFL season.
Yeah, XFL is still going on for those of you that are diehard XFL fans. But
I only say that because I know there's probably one or two people that are like, wait a minute.
what about the XFL? I know that was on this weekend, debut weekend. I saw some of those games, but we just wrapped up the NFL season. And so that means fantasy football has come to a close, which means fantasy football punishments are going on all over the world.
I remember this guy from last year.
Yeah, and my thoughts on this guy are like, if you lose 1 year, like obviously that was a bad season, right? If you finish the last 2 years in a row Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, but I think he was excited to lose again because he got so much traction last year.
He did get a lot of hype.
This created like his whole persona.
Makes sense.
So I think he would volunteer to lose if it meant he could do this again.
Oh, yeah. And so for this year, his name's Greg Harvey, ended up losing his fantasy football league again. And this year that meant that he was doing the Waffle House Waffle Challenge, which means you're doing 24 hours in a Waffle House. Every waffle that you eat is going to take off an hour.
So he, this was his second year with the same Waffle House punishment, but it looks like Waffle House partnered with him this time. So I think he did 11 waffles for his time that he was there. And it's kind of hard because it's in a Twitter thread.
Yeah.
So it's like, why didn't you just do a posting saying like, what was the outcome?
What exactly happened?
But I think he did eat all the 11. They're not small pancake or waffles. Like
they're big.
They're big waffles.
They're the full-size Waffle House waffles.
And he did 11 of them during his time.
Which means he was in there for approximately 13 hours.
13 hours.
Which I can't imagine if you spent 13 hours in a Waffle House, let alone eating 11 waffles, like the amount of weird things you would see in there.
Maybe they're protecting him though, because
it's just him in there.
It was a thing.
Yeah.
Waffle House was involved, so it's not like if you just went for your punishment.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Who's this guy who's been here for 13
random
hours?"
Guy who's been here for a long time. Yeah, I just can imagine the things that you would see in a Waffle House over the course of 13 hours would be just terrifying.
And probably because as long as you're not there overnight.
Yes. You got to pick the hours. You want to show up at like 6 a.m.
Yep.
And then you want to make sure that you eat enough waffles where you're out of there before 9 o'clock p.m.
So this is Greg Harvey. Again, last year he became known as the Waffle House punishment guy for his fantasy football league. He did it for the second year. That was yesterday. 24 hours in a Waffle House with each waffle taking off 1 hour. He did 11 of them, and my favorite is he was asking people to Venmo him to donate the price of a waffle.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So I wonder how much money he made at the end of it.
And I look at this too, like it says, like after his like seventh one, then he flipped over to chocolate chip waffles, which I feel like would be a dangerous strategy. I feel like I would not want it to be like flavored though.
You've got to switch it out so like it doesn't feel like you're just eating the same thing over and over again, which you are, but chocolate chips have to help.
Yeah, chocolate chips makes it taste better. I would just worry about like getting more full. I'm trying to eat as many as possible and get out of there probably as soon as possible, but I do prefer a chocolate chip waffle every single time over a regular one.
Waffle House seems okay with it because that became the punishment if you lost out on your fantasy football league to do something at a Waffle House.
Yeah, we need to send some people to Waffle House and see how many I wonder how many, if we, the Riot, did it, how many waffles do you think you would be able to eat?
I also still don't think it's a punishment. Like,
You
if you
don't
want
think
me
it's
to
a
sit there
punishment?
for 13 hours, do I get my phone? Do I have a charger?
Is it like a work day?
Yeah,
like,
is it a work day?
Is it like a Tuesday? Like I don't have to go to work then? Because if so, I'm at least not leaving before 2 o'clock.
I can bring my laptop. Like
exactly.
We could work from wherever, and if you're feeding us, that I don't think this sounds like a punishment.
Yeah, you can Venmo me and I get waffles for free, and I'm just sitting there eating whenever I want, hanging out on my
Punish
phone.
away.
It sounds like my typical day at RadioU, except I'm not working.
And we're normally not being paid for some of this
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. So I'm fine with going to Waffle House and hanging out for the day.
But for him, he's all done. Yesterday was his punishment day.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Maybe a better way for us to avoid some sickness, feeling better in the morning in general.
Well, just feeling. So this guy's a longevity expert.
That's not even mean.
It sounds pretentious, doesn't it?
It does. A self-proclaimed longevity expert.
I think he is an actual doctor, but he was writing an article about how to use healthy habits like exercise and good nutrition to create like a personal routine. So for him, he says his biological age and like what his chronological age are about 20 years off because of what he does for his healthy morning habits. So he says that he's so much healthier thanks to these habits he's picked up. And I thought, well, let's hear what he has to say.
Maybe he's got some good things here. The first one I'm reading starts the day with meditation, coffee, and some time to write.
Now, you need to break this out more because I just want us to look and see, like, well, would we consider doing any of this?
Yeah.
Because at first you're like, okay, meditation, like what, 5 minutes? No, he gets up at 6 a.m., which is later than us.
Yes.
We at least have him on that. He meditates for 20 minutes. Then
20 minutes?
20 minutes.
That's so long.
Then he enjoys his plain coffee.
I just don't understand meditate. I get people like meditation and whatnot. Good for you. For me, I don't know if I could just sit there. I would.
You just can't sit still for 20 minutes.
I think I would feel unproductive if I did that for like 20 minutes in the morning. Like if I just sat there and just sat and thought. I don't really know how to meditate, but if I had to, I would just be thinking for 20 minutes.
You're supposed to empty your thoughts.
Oh, empty my mind.
And just sit there and just let it be.
Just see what comes to me in that moment. No thoughts in the brain. For me, if I sat there for 20 minutes, I would be like, wow.
You just can't.
I haven't done anything yet today. And then the time to write as well, I don't really write.
So he sits down with his coffee and he spends time writing then about his day and his feelings and his thoughts.
How he's doing.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I haven't written, and I don't even know how long. Maybe that's why I don't feel young. Maybe it's because I'm not writing every day.
But you're only 24.
I know, exactly. I need to go get a pen and pencil or pen and paper, and I need to start writing or something because I haven't written anything down in so long.
Well, you're supposed to. So you should have, before the show in the morning, a dedicated writing time.
Just a little bit of writing.
So this is again from a longevity expert who says we have to have better morning sort of goals. So when he's done with that, then he goes, when does work start? He has strength training.
He doesn't work. That's the whole thing.
This is it.
That's the whole thing.
He does strength training with resistance bands. So you have to do that.
Okay.
Then you're supposed to take a steam shower. And you're supposed to take a cold plunge.
A cold plunge,
So
okay.
the cold plunge has to be 40 degrees water for 3 minutes.
See, I will say, of everything we've done so far, I do partial cold showers.
How long?
In the morning. So this is what I do, okay? In the morning time, I do it in the morning and I shower in the afternoon as well. My afternoon one's I'm a little bit better at it. In the morning time, I start with the water hot. And then as I'm getting ready to get out, right?
That's because your hot water's running out.
I just turn it down, and I turn it down, and it helps me get out of the shower too. And then I try to stay underneath like the freezing cold water as long as I can, which usually lasts for like 15 seconds.
Well, you got to go 3 minutes.
I can't make it that long.
And it's got to be 40 degrees. Then this is actually your part. You ready?
Yeah.
So if you want to do a longevity thing in the morning, they say have a smoothie.
I do smoothies.
You can totally do that.
I do them in the afternoon, but same thing.
And I love this guy's name for what he does food-wise. He calls him, it's a pagan diet, it's a paleo, and a vegan.
What?
So he's mostly vegan.
Got it.
Mostly plant-based whole foods. So there you go. You want to try any of it?
I don't know if any of this is really, I mean, the smoothie sounds good.
What if you brought in a journal and you're just over there in between all your stuff? I mean, you're working more today because Hudson's not in.
Yeah.
You're over there having your smoothie. You've warmed up after the cold plunge and your strength training.
Yes.
And you could then write your stuff.
I just don't know what I would write. Like, I don't have anything important to say. You know, like, what could I be writing over there that's like feeling good today?
I bet you come up with a lot when you're meditating for 20 minutes.
Yeah, if I hit that meditation, then that'll free and clear my mind so that then I'm able to come up with some things to write about, I guess.
Well, I guess this shows that our personal routine is not like this, guys, and it's not good enough.
And that's why we don't feel 20 years younger. Here's Mirror's
Why
Colorful
don't
Love.
you feel 4?
I know, I see 4 years old, like a newborn baby.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
A Tennessee animal shelter is asking a lot of Paul Rudd.
Oh, yeah, but if they could get a hold of him, maybe he would.
Yeah, they're asking him to adopt one of their dogs because they claim that they have a dog that looks exactly like him. And I do see where they're coming from.
The face, it kind of has that look.
Yeah, when I look at the dog, like, for whatever reason, it's a weird thing to say that, like, a dog looks like a person. But, like, if Paul Rudd was walking, like, down the street with this dog, he would for sure get, like, the dog to, like, their owner,
Yeah.
owners like their dog thing, because this dog looks just enough like Paul Rudd
It's the
to where
face.
it could pass.
It's the eyes, too.
Yeah. The whole cuteness of old Mr. Paul Ruff is what
And-
they're calling him at the animal shelter.
He looks so cute. He looks so soft. If not, you could always,
No, why
find Jim
me?
a friend. Why not?
Why wouldn't you?
I think I'm at 3. I can't have any more.
But once you know what they say.
No,
Once you have 3,
That's
what's
what
4?
you say when you have 1 and you add 2, but then I added 2 more and I just can't have any more.
No, if I think Jim does need a friend at the house, but unfortunately he is amassed to be too large for even what my house can capacity right now.
Can't have any more.
No, there's no way I could fit another dog in there.
Well, if you're interested, it's in Collierville Animal Shelter in Tennessee. It's an Australian Shepherd mix. He looks so soft and fuzzy. Daddy.
He does.
He's a 2-year-old, 65-pound dog. His nickname is Paul Ruff, but he also goes by Waffle House. I think that's a better name.
That's just such a cute name. His name's Waffle House. Like you call him like Waffle.
I'd call him short just for Waffle.
But say that fits right into your whole dynamic here at the house.
So
Waffle.
Waffle. I know
It fits right in.
No, I do like desserts and candies.
Waffle. This can be a dessert.
No,
it's right
not,
there. It's close.
What? I call it, here come dessert waffle.
Here comes dessert waffle.
So they say Paul Rudd does not have a Twitter, but they want everybody to add Ant-Man and try to get to Paul Rudd so that they can see if he would be honestly interested in adopting or can help promote the animal shelter. They say Paul Ruff is independent, affectionate, and quiet. They do have several applications for him, but none from Paul Rudd himself.
Do you see like the collage? You need to scroll down and look at this collage they made, where they have like a bunch of pictures of Paul Rudd and like him doing different
With the stare,
smiles.
yeah.
He has a bunch of different smiles, and then they have Paul Ruff like next to him on all of them, where he's like doing a similar face, and it actually looks hilarious.
There's one where Paul Rudd has like a little tilt on the left side of the
smirk,
mouth,
yeah.
and the dog does it too.
Just the exact same thing. Oh,
It's
that's
cute.
hilarious.
And it's creative because animal shelters have a hard time, I think, bringing in people and
Mm-hmm.
support and stuff. So this is a really fun way to try to get someone to adopt this dog.
Yeah, whether it's Paul Rudd or somebody else, this dog will not be at the animal shelter for much longer, if I had to guess.
They do want people to try to at Ant-Man and send this on to them so that hopefully he'll eventually hear about it.
What a great time. He just put out his new movie, and then now this. I mean, for the animal shelter, what great timing on the PR team
It's
here.
smart. Whoever
Great
thought
work.
this up, whoever saw the resemblance between the dog and Paul Rudd is paying attention too much.
They need a raise, I think.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.